Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, happy Monday. Today is the 14th of July, statistically one of the happiest days of the year. And so I'm going to think hard this week about the possibility of moving here permanently. I got another networking opportunity this week, and I've been here for a month so far this time around, and I've noticed that life in the United States has really messed me up, really roughed me up, is probably the best way to put it. I find that I'm a whole lot less stiff here in Taiwan. Yeah, last week I misplaced my passport, but had I not found the passport, I was making strides in resolving the situation. And it actually helped me connect with my aunt and uncle who were helping me out with that. And I, uh, I was going to go to the embassy this morning had I not found the passport. So I stayed with my aunt and uncle these last couple of nights. And that was great. And what else has been going on? I had a couple of bad roommates, not bad roommates, but conflicts with roommates. I had one roommate who was upset that I had gotten up at 10 in the morning and screamed Peter Dislike Show, right? And then another roommate who was upset about my snoring. And even then, I was the bigger person in all of this, right? And I feel that life in America roughs me up. What do I mean by that? Well, people make assumptions about me and they're not right, and it roughs me up. I had times where I was going through difficult times and I was living out of my car. Now, would it be a problem if somebody, needed to clean the street at 2 in the morning and asked me to move my car? No, that's not the problem. The problem is they make assumptions about my arrangements and they pound on my door and they rough me up, right? Verbally, at least, right? And so it hardens me when you're constantly in contact with that kind of stuff. Last time around to Taiwan, I flew back to Seattle or San Francisco to take a connecting flight. I accidentally pushed the luggage cart into the TSA line. It was 6 in the morning. My brain wasn't working right. Now, is it wrong? Sure. Is it the end of the world? I don't think so, right? Even if that cart made it all the way to the gate at the plane, big deal. It's an inconvenience for sure, right? It's not going to cause the plane to explode. It's not going to cause the X-ray machines to explode. Deal with it like it's a no big deal, right? Pretend somebody accidentally put on opposite shoes, right? Would you need to scream at somebody, hey, I think your shoes look kind of cool. Did you make a mistake? Right? That's probably how you would say it, right? But this TSA agent just barks and he says, sir, you can't bring your card in here. It's 6 in the morning after I'd just gone on a 15-hour flight. And things like that, is it the end of the world if I hear that? Not really, but it stiffens me up, right? And I am autistic. When I hear a command like that, it takes me hours just for my mental energy level to go back to ground. It really does. And unfortunately, life in America is surrounded by that. Give you an idea, just earlier today, I was drinking a 1 liter bottle of tea, and I thought this can that I saw was a recycle container. It was actually for somebody's event, and I accidentally put it in there, and they were very calm. If this had been in the United States, I can only imagine the verbal assault I would get from that, right? And I also feel there's a whole lot more understanding. I don't know about the prevalence of autism here in Taiwan. It might be a little bit higher because I find that our social environment is more conducive, more accommodating. Even when people don't hear that I am autistic, just the background environment is so much more conducive to it. I don't know if it's because Taiwanese people are just a calmer people in general, or if it's more understanding education, right? Feel free to leave a comment. But this whole experience here in the other experience I have is that my dating life, it goes a whole lot better here in Taiwan. I went to a speed dating event 2 nights ago, and I actually made a lot of connections. Back home, I have to go to dozens of speed dating events just to get one connection. That doesn't really go anywhere, right? And I obviously you remember the girl I met last time. Unfortunately, she needs to move back home to her family in Vietnam. Uh, I was telling a few people here in Taiwan about my experience back home in the U.S., and most of my roommates blamed it on the fact that different races mix in the U.S. And so I've learned the hard way that as much as we try to accept different racial backgrounds, it is very difficult for humans of different races to mix. It's almost like an intractable problem that we try our best, right? It kind of feels like that, and I kind of belong better here, right? All right. Anyway, I don't know why we can't at least be calmer, right? You don't need to. I've never let's go back to that example of me living in my car. I would never cause somebody trouble if they needed to clean the street, right? I don't know why people have to be hostile to me and pound on my door and make assumptions about me and call me names and all that and tell me to go to hell or whatever, right? And unfortunately, when the big picture is that when these people do that, when they pound on my door at 2 in the morning and tell me to go to hell, it messes me up, right? It makes it harder for me to actually get ahead the next day, so that in the future I don't have to bother them by living in the car anymore, right? That's what it is, right? The big picture, at least, right? Similarly, at the TSA line, when they bark at me like that, it makes it difficult for me to pay attention to what I'm doing, right? I'm messed up for the next couple of hours. Why do you think there's been a lot of air rage and all that? It doesn't help, right? Now, the TSA person, does he prefer carts not go through the TSA? I'm sure he does, right? But he can accomplish the same thing without all the hostility, right? Hey, we like to keep our lines clean. Would you mind leaving the card here with me? And right? He could have at least said good morning. How was your trip? Could have said any number of things, right? Keep in mind, at the airport, not everybody who's traveling is doing so out of fun, right? I don't know how many of my viewers work TSA, flight attendants. Not every one of your passengers is out there having a good time, right? Some people are going to funerals. Some people have just divorced, separated. Some people have just lost their job and need to go back home, right? Some people are going to a job that they despise, right? A workplace meeting halfway around the world that they don't want to be going to, right? Have to leave their family behind, right? Some people might even be going off to war, right? How can you just bark at any of these people and you don't know which one it is, right? Some people could be coming home from Disney World, but the trip might have not hit their expectations, right? I thought I would just point that out, right? So next time, if you work TSA or you're a flight attendant or a pilot, and next time you want to be angry at one of your passengers, just think about all of these demographics that I just mentioned and think how you would talk to these people, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.